So for loop is a definite loop which helps us run certain piece of instruction, certain piece of code for certain number of time, for a definite number of times. There is another form of loops called indefinite loops, which runs as long as the condition holds true. Okay, so it depends on the condition. So we commonly know refer it as while loops. Just like for is a specific type of loop, while is also a type of loop which exists in every programming language. So what do you think? Do you have any example of any practical scenario where you would want to run something as long as the condition holds true, not for a specific number of time? Yes.
If you want to like check the balance, you can return balance as long as the number is greater than 0.
So you are setting the condition here. As long as the number is greater than 0, if the number is less than 0, then what? It will not show the balance?
0, because you can't have negative money.
Is it a real world scenario?
Like if you like asked to check your money in your bank account, that's what I'm saying.
So in a real world scenario, when you go to your bank, ATM will not tell you that you have a negative balance or 0.
Right.
It will tell.
Well, it will tell you have 0, but like negative balance.
So how come like the condition is applying here? It is going to tell you anyway. Think of any other example. Yeah.
A temperature control unit, like your central air. So if you have it set to a certain value, and that value deviates by however much,
Yeah,
the cooling
correct.
heating will.
Like just like a room temperature here, if we set it to for example 70 Fahrenheit, so it will keep monitoring as long as the temperature is 70. If it falls below or above, however you want to run it, if it falls above, then it turns on the cooling, or if you're turning on the heat, if it falls below, then it turns on the heating, whatever. Okay, another example is like password entry system. Like system will keep on asking you password until you enter the correct one. Okay, now things are getting more advanced. It will block you out if you attempt to enter wrong password 3 times, 5 times, or however you program it. Okay, so while loop repeats the loop body, repeats the code until the condition satisfy. Let's look at its syntax. It's simple, while, and then you specify the expression. The expression is again like you want to compare a certain variable, greater than, less than, equivalent, and then it will keep running this loop body. Okay, so as long as the expression is true, this loop will keep running, which means that this expression is evaluated before every iteration of the while loop. Okay, so before it runs the loop body, it first checks for the expression if it is true or false. Okay, so once the loop is terminated, only then the next line of code starts executing. Okay, so we have two important terms here: the loop variable, based on which we write our condition, and if the loop variable is not updated inside while loop, what will happen? The loop will keep running. So let's take an example here. So let's say we have a variable named current underscore power assigned a value 2, and then another variable user underscore char or user underscore character. We define it with a value of y. And now we are checking this condition, while user underscore char equals y. So when it is running for the first time, do you think this condition will satisfy? This condition is going to satisfy because we have just assigned a value y to this variable. Okay, so once this condition satisfies, Python will enter into this loop and it will start executing, printing this thing, incrementing or whatever, however it is supposed to be executed. And then what is happening in the third instruction in the loop? We are collecting an input from a user. So if user enters y again, then this condition will satisfy again and it will execute again. This loop body will execute again. If user enters something else, maybe n or any other character, this condition will not satisfy and it will come out of the loop. Okay, so the loop will be terminated and then it will start executing from this point onwards. Make sense? So you may expect me to give similar kind of things in your exam, and I may ask you like for how many times this loop is going to run, or whether it's going to run 4 times, 5 times, or forever. Okay, if for just imagine for the time being, this is the loop variable. If I'm not updating this loop variable inside, suppose this instruction is not there, what will happen? It will keep running these two lines forever. Okay, so because we are not updating the loop variable inside the loop, so this condition will always hold true, which means that this is an infinite loop. And when I was learning this thing back then, when I was an undergrad student, we did not have that sophisticated IDEs like Microsoft Visual Studio. So if we would ever run into that situation, we would have no choice except to restart our computer. But now you can actually terminate the program with the short key as well as the button. Okay? So the common error is to accidentally create an infinite loop by assuming we are making an equality comparison. So the good practice is like you use a greater than or less than symbol with equality sign depending on your program's requirement. So program may with an infinite loop may print out excessively. I'll show you in a while. And if you're using Microsoft Visual Studio, you can just hit Control-C to terminate the program. Not only Microsoft Visual Studio, you can terminate the program in terminal using Control-C. Okay? And there might be a stop button in some IDEs like PyCharm, which will help terminate the program immediately. Okay, so before I move on, I would like to just give you a quick demo on how for loops work. So let me create a new file, call it while_loop_demo.py. So I'm assigning a value I equals, let's say 10. Sorry. And now I'm writing while I is less than or less than, let's say 20. Well, let's keep it simple, 15. And then printing I. When I run this program, what will happen? Huh? Nothing will happen. Why? So while I is less than 15. So less than. So which means what? It will start printing I. For how long? Indefinite number of times, infinite number of times. Let's see how it looks. While_loop demo. And you can see it keeps on printing 10. It looks like your terminal is stalled, but it is actually, your program is continuously running. So you can hit Control-C on your keyboard to terminate the program. Alright, so I can also update it like while I plus equal 1. Now, how many number of times this loop is going to run? These are very simple questions you may expect to have in your exam, logical questions. Like I may give you a piece of code, a small piece of code. It's only 3 lines, worth of 6 points. And you should be able to answer it, yeah. So starting with 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay? Sorry, not 15, until 14. Because it is less than symbol. If I just replace it with less than equal, then it will include 15 as well. Okay? I may also consider giving you some other type of like, instead of doing this, I plus equals 2. Now how many times it will run? So 10, and then 12, and then 14, and then next time it will become 16, so it will not run. Okay? So it will run 3 times. So I mean, these are very simple logical questions. You may practice with the help of PyPal either, or you can do it yourself.